So it sorry, I have not shared my screen. So yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is
And
visible.
any is there any noise or anything?
No.
Acha, okay. So I'm starting. See, on this on our second day, we have created this screen. That was some basic things that for creating this screen, the two things were required. The first concept was is how to show this image, and second was how to show a text. So for showing a image, I have shown you that this image composable is being used, and for showing a text, similarly, pretty self-explanatory that text composable is being used, and by arranging them in a vertical manner, because in a column fashion, after you can say it's a view, you can say it's also a view. So or you can so below this UI, and uh, whenever I am placing something like that, one after another, so in this fashion it is called vertical. It's actually placing in a vertical way, so it's basically you can say a column. So that is why a column layout was required. Okay, so you can say a column. It's basically it's not a view. It's you can say a composable. So I think some of you are new here. Some of you, I guess, new. Have not attended previous sessions. So the thing I am just quick recapping some things that uh, it's basically a Kotlin function denoted by a fun keyword. It's mentioning a Kotlin function, and any Kotlin function. Whenever we are using obviously Jetpack Compose library, in any Kotlin function is annotated with composable. It's basically a composable function. Now, what is a composable function? Composable function is basically responsible to build UI. If any one of you have experience about Flutter, how Flutter works, it's pretty same, and it's called the declarative UI approach. Okay, so just see that how we can implement that, and other than that everything you can get from the code lab itself. So I will share that, so you can check from there. So now I'll just show you some basic things. So I'm creating here so today, so here you can see how to use an image. Here to use an image, I have given a location of the image which is there inside resources drawable folders. So inside the drawable folder, so the drawable folder is inside the resource folder, and the jetpack png is inside the drawable folder. Okay, so I am giving the location, therefore r is denoting the resource. Inside resource there is drawable, so by dot operator I am accessing all the elements inside resource. I get the drawable, and inside drawable I am accessing the jetpack. So this is the location, and this location I am passing as a id to that this painter resource, and painter resource is responsible for making a painter, or you can say it's actually responsible for painting the image. Okay, so so this painter is by using this painter, this image composable actually painting it's on our canvas. You can say you can consider it's like a canvas, and it is drawing here. Okay, so actually image is doing the same. So similar for text, whatever text I am giving as a parameter, so it's also a function, and here I am passing some parameters. Whatever string I have passed here, you can see that that is actually showing here. Okay, so this drawing is done by this text composition. Simple thing. So now today I will show how to use a button, and how to use some text fields, and a long list, a long items of list, how you can show this kind of thing. I will show just simple two or three things. So I think if you guys not getting how the composable is writing and how this thing, so you can check the previous videos, because explaining those things actually waste of time, so I am not going into that. So so I'm without wasting any time, I am just creating a function. So giving a function name, suppose button. Uh, Suppose demo button. I am giving it a function name. In Kotlin, to create a function, you have to give a keyword font. It denotes it's a function button. So it's a simple button. Pretty simple, like other, just like a function by empty parenthesis. I'm not passing any parameter here. Now, to make it a composable function, you have to annotate it with a composable. I'm annotating it with a composable. So whenever you are annotating with a composable, it's now a composable, and this composable annotation actually telling the compose compiler that it's a function which is associated with UI declaration. Okay, it's not a normal function. Now inside that, to draw a button in our canvas, I am using a button. Okay, this is, I'm using button. So inside button, what all are things there? So if I see the button, so how you can see these things also, just hover over it and click. By hovering, you can see this, or by hovering there, you can click on right click. Okay, so that you can see the these codes also. And here you can see all the things required. The on click is the parameter of this function, the modifier enabled, many things is there. Don't worry about that thing, just we are going to use this on click. Okay, so what that on click is doing actually, so on click, what it is saying by its name, that it is actually responsible for something. Whenever we click on button, if you have seen any application, whenever you are clicking on any button, okay, so what happens, that some logic is happened, is occurred in background. Okay, and any different kind of things, maybe the any kind of image can be shown, and anything happened by clicking on button. So whatever you want to do by clicking on button, you will write that logic here inside on click. Okay, so is it clear that what on click works, what on click does? Is it clear? Just a minute. Guys, have you get the idea what on click is? Just I think it's not clear, right?
Yes, it is clear. It is clear.
Acha, okay. So I'm going to just this function is basically responsible for, see, this function is basically responsible for building an just as I give its name a demo button. So I'm going to building drawing a kind of button here. Okay, so the button composable is actually responsible for drawing a button. So here inside on click, so suppose I want to show a pop-up kind of thing. So to show a pop-up in it's a small pop-up, so you that actually called toast in Android. So basically what toast is, I am showing you. So to make a toast, you have to just call this code snippet. You can for now you can think it like a code snippet. So make text, inside that you have to pass a context. I'm explaining what everything, just give a minute. Context. Just give me 5 minutes and then I'm explaining context and text. So, click and post dot short. Now I'm calling this demo button from here. Demo button. Inside context, I'm passing. So everything done. So before explaining the code, let me first show you what is happening actually. So I'm just building this application on emulator. So what is emulator is basically nothing but a virtual device, and whatever thing I have written here, this thing, this part, you can think like a it's a part which denotes whatever logic I will write there, that will be reflected to our application after installation. And this part, this preview section, I have explained everything. You can check the previous videos. So this preview section is responsible for showing in this app preview section. Okay. So whatever function name I have given, that is actually showing here. Just I'm giving the quick overview. So yeah, give some time for building. After build complete, that will be installed here, and we can see what was actually happening. So see, there is a button. If I am clicking here, see a pop-up is coming. That is button clicked, and this is a button. So I have not given here any text and anything. I am adding those things. First, let me explain what I have written here. So inside this is the function, you can think like that. In this method, whatever I have written, that is actually showing on our application, actual application, whatever I have installed in my emulator. Of course, it's a virtual device, but you can test it on your real device too. So here I am calling what? Here I am calling the demo button function. So demo button function, what actual button function does? It actually taking a context. First, let me explain what is context. So context, you can think like, you can say it like a, in Android, context is, you can think like, uh, the the current instance, or the current particular, you can see, you can think like of, if it's a class, then it's the current class, whatever, this kind of thing. So let me show you something. I think video is there. Like we are calling. So suppose, uh, in from main activity, so activity is responsible for actually building the logic. Okay, so whenever we launch an app, then whatever screen you are seeing, that screen is drawn by this activity. So activity is a class that calls first, then everything falls into its place. So I have explained everything, I think, so I am not going to that thing. So it's a main activity. So inside main activity, see, so inside main activity, see, I am calling demo button. Okay. So what is that demo button? So demo button, what it's taking a context. So context in the term of context, I have given this, and if I click on this, see, it is pointing. This is actually pointing main activity. It means I am passing the current reference. You can say kind of I am passing the current reference of main activity. So whenever I last day I have explained about class and object. So whenever you can see, you can think main activity as a class. Okay, so somewhere there should be a instance of main activity. So where is the instance of the main activity? That instance should take a memory allocation. So that memory allocation is actually have some kind of address will have, and inside of this main activity, if from somewhere I call this, it means where the instance is created, this will be point to its reference. So actually what actually in simple what is happening, this is referencing main activity, simple. Okay, so this is the context of main activity. It means as I say that you can say context is the current instance. So this is obviously pointing the current instance of the main activity. Simple. So here it is. So see, I have write down that a demo button. Okay. So now if I show you the emulator, sorry, there is the emulator. So here inside the button there should be a text like click here and this thing. So for this I will use, see, automatically a row scope is there. So inside this row scope I will put a text. Text, actually text composable is responsible for showing a text. So inside text I am giving a parameter text and giving click here text. Now if I build this again, so see, whatever thing I have written here, that will be shown inside this button because it is the scope of this button. See, it is showing now. Click here, whatever I have written here, and if I change the text now, so that will be changed here. And if I click on here, see, mini pop-up is appearing. So the mini pop-up, whatever this thing is appearing here, it is called the toast, and you may watch this thing in many application it is using. So it's Android generic thing actually. So how we can show this thing? By calling a toast class, and inside the toast class I am calling the make text. So in the main side make text I am calling the context. So there is context is required. After that whatever text I want to show, that I am passing. After that I am showing the toast length short. So if I click on the length short toast method, see here two things, length long and length short. So what is length long and short? So for length short, it the toast the, whatever, see again, whenever I am clicking, it comes and goes. So it takes very short time. So if I change it to long, then it will be there for a long time. So that's the main difference of length short and long. So it's this is how you can place a button. So is this thing clear, that how can you place a button? Just I am showing you just important UI elements, that so that you can implement it in your apps and you can play with it. Because for there has a lot of concepts there, so I think I cannot cover everything within a short time period. So that I am just sharing the small things that is required, and after that you can start exploring from the course I have shared with you and told you to complete, obviously. So at last I will show you again that what you have to complete. So the button is there. Okay, so next thing, goes in my emulator. Let me open a bit. I'm going back. Suppose message app. Any message app is there? Yes. Okay. So if I click on new message, see this kind of thing we use in many applications to write some text. This is how user actually give inputs in our applications, and we take this information from this text from there, and we will do some logical operation in our background, in our logical place, which is our main activity obviously for this application. And later we after processing with that information, we source the result some kind of. So this kind of UI element is called edit text, or you can say in compose in text field. Okay, so inside text field you can actually edit the text. So in text, see, let me close this, that I have changed here, right? Okay, so here is the, it is called edit text. So we are going to making this UI right now. So how we can do that? The same thing. Suppose I am making another function. Uh, Suppose I am giving a name like user input text. Okay. So to make it composable, I am annotating it with a composable. Okay. So now it is a composable. Now inside this, to draw this on our canvas, we will call text field. See, text field. Okay. So there comes two things by default. The value should these two parameters value I have to pass. First one is value. A default value I can pass, that is maybe 0. I'm passing. Take a type of that. Okay. And suppose in on change, on value changed. See, I'm going to the declaration. Inside on value changed, you can see a data type like this. And last day I have told you that what was this function as a parameter. That is the thing, that function data type I have told last day. I've explained last day, and if you guys want, you can check last day's video. And that is the thing. That is why I have told everything last day. So you can think like that. Today you can, if you guys understood last day these concepts, then that will be easier to get things that how it's working actually internally. Or otherwise you can just think like that how just we can achieve it. So inside on value you have to give a curly braces, and inside the curly braces whatever logic you will write, that will be responsible for uh, actually, let me show you. Just a minute. So whatever things I have writing, that should be comes here at the value place. Okay. And whenever I am whenever I'm writing here like this, that is actually changing the value. So whenever I am writing, or user will write, that on value change will be called. Okay. So whenever the on value change will be called, on value change, it's by its name, it is saying that this function will be called when the value will be changed. Okay. So the value, when the value will be changed, something will be called. And whenever the value will be changed, that suppose I am entering D, I'm entering D here. So whenever I'm entering D, this will be called, and that this total text as a string will be comes here. So from here, I can take the string and do whatever we want. Okay. So for that, I'm using the same thing, toast. Okay. same thing toast I'm using, and here actually a context is needed, so I'm just copying the same thing context. Okay, so after that, here instead of button clicked, as it is taking a string, so see the it is also actually okay. So I'm passing simple it. I think it's text size visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm passing it, or with if you don't want to pass it, you want to give it's a name, so you can pass like you can give value here and give a arrow like this. And that these all things I have explained last days. If you want, you can go through that video, that last day's video, that I have explained everything, that why I am giving this arrow, what is the function as a data type, how can I change these things. So everything I have explained last day. So for now, just or if you don't want, you don't need to do that. Just keep this as a black box view, that if I write value instead of there, then instead of it, we can change it like a value. So that will be same. That value is a string. Whatever thing this on value change will return, that is coming here. Okay. So now if I call the input text now from here, okay, and if I build the application again, to give some time to install, and so see it comes here, and whatever thing I am changing, nothing is changing. uh, I'm clicking many things, but actually nothing is showing here. So now thing is why it is not showing, but I have written everything. I have written everything, that what should be there, what should I use there. But I have used an text field, yeah, on value changed. uh, on value changed, I have that what should be shown, that I have given a toast. Then why but see, if I click suppose A, see the toast are showing here actually, and it is continuously just changing. That I have just typed very fast, so that is why it is actually rendering in that way. So first of all, let's debug that thing, that the functionality is not working. Simple. So why it is not working? Let's see. So here I am clicking on different area, but and it should be shown here, but it is not changing. Now see why it is not happening. So see, here is a place called value, but I have set it a default value here. I have not changed that. The first thing. So how can I change this? How can I change this? So for that, another concept is comes in composable. That is, you have to learn three things at first. Where it is, the middle. Okay. First, let me show you three things to understand this concept before understanding. One is what is composition. What is composition? What is recomposition? Composition. And what is state? These three concepts you have to understand. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so this is noise coming from background.
No.
Acha, okay. So for composition, first comes to what is composition. So uh, I say that if I am annotating anything as composable, that actually telling the Kotlin compiler that whatever function is annotated as composable, that is actually responsible to build an UI, okay, the UI element. So this composable is called what whenever this function will call. So make that composition. So that making that UI element, I am just explaining you so that you can understand. It's actually called that drawing that UI on the canvas. So whatever I am saying canvas, this overall screen I am saying canvas, and this is actually drawing. Okay, so whatever thing I will drawing, okay, so that is actually who is drawing. I am not actually the Kotlin. You can see the compose compiler is drawing on the campus. So canvas. Okay, so that is actually called composition. So composition, in composition, what is happening in, so whenever whenever a composable is drawing an UI element, or you can say a compose compiler drawing in UI elements on the canvas, it is the composition. Okay. Now, what is then recomposition? Okay. See, there is a text. There is a text field like this, and there is static text like my name. So it is basically nothing a text composable. For a text composable, it's actually showing here. But so whenever I'm calling a text composable by giving as a parameter as my name, so the composition will occur, and the text field, a text with my name will be shown. Okay. Now suppose there's somehow I am changing the parameter. Okay, in runtime. Suppose in runtime I am changing the parameter. Okay, what is runtime? In whenever actually app is running. So I'm setting some kind of condition. Just think, you can think any condition. So I have set any condition that is actually changing the parameter value runtime. Okay, so whenever the parameter value is changed, so at first the parameter was my name. Now I have changed it, the parameter value as Android. Okay, so what should happen actually? So instead of my name, there should be shown Android. The Android should be shown here. Okay, so in compose, whenever a data change for a particular UI element, okay, so for a particular UI element, whenever a data change for that particular UI element, it again compose, it again occurs the composition. That is why it is called recomposition. So whenever the data changes across the app, okay, for a particular UI element, then that will be redrawn. You can say in simply that will be redrawn again on the screen by recomposition. So that is composition, which is actually responsible for drawing the UI, and recomposition at the time of data changes to redrawn that thing, the decomposition actually take place. Okay, so until that it is clear. Is it clear? Is there any confusion you can say in composition and recomposition? Anything? So no confusion, right? I can
No.
okay. So So composition, one thing, decomposition, second thing, and now comes what is then? Now comes state. So see, what I was doing, that I was changing the uh, data type, or you can say I can changing the value of a particular parameter. Okay, so whatever value can change across the app, that is called state. Everything is here actually. So if you goes to that course, whatever I have told you, can check the compose course. Sorry, to this course. I am just giving you the brief overview. Not I am going into the depth. So you have to read these things to get all the depth in understanding, and that is actually here. So see, if you go to this code lab, if you take this code lab, uh, any type of noise is coming. Is anyone opened their mic? I think someone have opened his mic.
Uh, Only two mics are on, yours and mine.
Acha, okay, okay. Mm, okay. So, so if you check this here, get started section, I think. See, you can get a more detailed overview about state here. So now you can see that state is an app, is any value, any value in the app that can change over time. Okay, so that is the state in short term. Okay, that is thing I am also saying that the any value that can change across the app, that is being called state. Now I have to store this state somewhere. Now if I come to my app again, not this one. Okay, if I come to my app again, so see, here is a static value. That is why only the static zero value is there. But whenever user is clicking somewhere, okay, so what actually happened? Whenever user is clicking here, then I am expecting that G should be print there. Then after clicking age, after G should age come here. Okay, so that is not happening here. So it is malfunctioning actually. So whenever a data is changing, actually the the overall UI drawing is changing. So the compose compiler should occur the recomposition thing, right? So how can Kotlin compiler know that some data is changing? So Kotlin compiler should know now that the data is changing. Then only he can read drawn. So otherwise it can't. So I have to first tell Kotlin compiler that data is changing. So how can I achieve that? So for that, we have to maintain the state. Okay. So here I am writing a variable. Suppose val state. Okay. There is a function called mutable state of. Mutable state of. Inside that, now I am passing zero. Let's see it giving some kind of error. What is the error? If I see, if you just go over that, see, see it is what it is saying, that creating a state object during composition without using remember. So now comes a peculiar new thing, that is what is remember then. Now the thing is that I am here, I am just observing state. Okay, if the state is changing or not. So whenever user input text is will be called, every time this state thing will be called, and every time, see, whenever it will be called again, then what will happen, that 0 will be set to the default value. So every time the default value will be 0, ideally. But I don't want that. I want whatever I will change, that value should store here. So that value should be remembered by the Kotlin compiler. So the thing is that Kotlin compiler have to remember that. For that, I will call remember. mm, will call remember like that. remember. Okay, and will annotate it, and inside the remember scope I will give it like that. Import remember, and see, now it is all good to go. That what is happening, actually I am telling that I am maintaining state. Whatever I am saying, that is state means this is the value, this value can be changed across the app. And remember, what remember is telling Kotlin compiler that it is telling Kotlin compiler that you should remember, this value, that whatever last value has given here, that you should remember. It is telling the Kotlin compiler. So now if I call this state, if I call this state here, I'm setting the state's value. I have to call this, this is a state, but I need the value of the state. Okay, so I am calling the state's value, okay, by dot operator. Now I'm doing one thing, that acha, before that, let me run it again. That now is acting whatever we want, like that. See some get, see, actually what ideally happened, that our app is showing just like that, a 0 is it. Okay, but ideally we are wanting this kind of behavior, right? This kind of behavior. But see, 0 is there, I'm clicking, see, nothing is happening again. Still it is nothing is happening. But why? Now I am maintaining the state, that then why it is not happening? Now come again, I am maintaining the state, but am I updating the state? Whatever user have given the input, is that state is maintained? Of course not. Because see, there is a value, right? A value after on value change, the value is coming here. So this value is not storing somewhere, I am not storing it on the state, right? Then how Kotlin compiler will remember that? So I have to store the value to this state, then only Kotlin compiler can remember that. And if Kotlin compiler remember that, then only he can redraw it according to whatever we are thinking. So how we can achieve that? We'll call state dot value. Here I will set the value. What is the our value? This is our value. So see what I have done here. Here I have updated. Here I have updated the state's value. I have updated the state's value to our current value. So I am for removing the confusion, I am giving changing the parameter type name like at current value. Okay, current value. So I'm putting the current value to the state's value. Now what is happening? Whatever value on value change, it's actually passing that after changing some data, whatever string is coming, that I am setting to the state's value. Now if I run this, okay, and see on the emulator, now let's see what happened. Now see, now it is acting just how we want, and according to that the toast messages are coming. See, after R, that R toast messages coming. If I give V, see the last is V. If I give V, see the last is B and B there, and the toast is coming accordingly. Is it clear that how you can implement this thing? Because it's all at the hands-on thing, so you have to do it
Yes.
by yourself. And I am just showing you just how you can building that in this. So I will upload this all this code snippet to our GitHub, and I will share that link by tomorrow. And one last thing I am going to show you. After that, we can close that session. That is one last important thing. That is idea of we have learned what is row, what is column, right? What row does? Row actually puts the element in a horizontal way. So what actually row does and what actually column does? Row and column. So row puts all the elements in this way, in a horizontal way, and column puts all the elements in this way. But these are fine. But whatever, what will happen if there has suppose 1,000 elements? Okay, then what will happen? So therefore, then suppose it's a text. Okay, it's also a text. It's also a text. Then I have to write 1,000 like similar kind of text, and I have to put it on the column. But the overall size of that of the list will be go beyond of our screen size. It will also not be scrollable. Okay, and all the elements will be there. So this is what I am not expecting. I am expecting a list. If there is 1,000 element like that, suppose if there is 1,000 element like that, so I can so there should be some way so that I can scroll it in upward downward. I can scroll it. For this thing, the lazy row and lazy column concept comes. So what lazy row and lazy column says, see, I am making another composable function called composable function calling list show list showcase, suppose like that. I am just showing you the how lazy column is working, and similar thing will be for lazy row. You can check it by your own. So I am just showing you that how lazy column works actually. So here it is composable. Okay. So I have made a function named lazy showcase, list showcase. So inside that, I want to make a list of 1,000 elements. First, let me create a list of 1,000 elements. So in Kotlin, smartly I can create such kind of list. Like uh, suppose I am making a variable of list. Okay, here in Kotlin I can do one thing. I can call list. Okay, and I can give the size of that list, and whatever item will be there, I can pass by I can pass it like that. See, it is sending some kind of it. It means the position. If there is 1,000 elements, and as it is you can think like a array of thousand size. Okay, so what will be the indexes? 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 999. So inside this scope, okay, this it is actually passing that index from 0 to 999. So whatever indexes are passing, I am storing it as a string. Okay, so I can do it by this. So what is actually happening here? Actually, by this syntax, for each index, I am storing that value. I am storing that value to this list. Okay, so you can think it like that. Suppose there is a list. There is a list of so on. Index are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on 999. So what I have done there, according to this syntax, I have I have taken every index, made it as string, and put them into that place. Therefore, there is a 0, there is a 1, there is a 2, there is a 3, there is a 4 of type string. You guys get it? Or what I have done there? It's just a simple thing. Just how the list is, how I have filled the list. Have you get it? Any confusion you can say that how the list is actually have working. So should I proceed? Okay, so I am proceeding. Just you guys can think like that. It's a you guys can think like that. It's a list of 1,000 element, and inside that list, I am putting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, as the value of that list. Just I have made a list of 1,000 elements. Okay, so now I want to show this list. How I can show this list? By lazy column. By lazy column. Okay. In lazy column, there should be just a minute. Okay. So some small things I am doing here. That the lazy column is actually responsible for making a list which we can scroll. Okay. So guys, are you guys getting it or should I drop? That
Yeah. Siddhanta, how much time we need? Because I have another meeting.
So I think that the things I have covered, and you guys can explore later on. Okay, whatever thing you want. So I can drop this here, and better, because until and unless you are not covering the basics of Kotlin at least, and you are not getting the basics of how composition works, how recomposition works, that I have told today. Uh, you will not capable to do these things by own, but you can play with images, text, that's all. But for the state and this kind of concept, you have to understand that how compose is actually working. Okay, how, what are the Kotlin basics. So I am strongly preferring you all that please do this course, whatever course I think Alapan has shared on the group. Okay, so you can follow that, and if you get any problem anywhere, please ping me up. I am always there, because there is no sense to teach these things, because already a good playlist are already there in playlist in YouTube. Okay, so you can take this reference from here. I can also share some good playlist to you, so that you can guys explore there. And it was just a quick overview session. If you don't understand anything, no issue, you can start exploring. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today, so we can drop here.